the contrast of Waterloo has changed tenfold.
There's been really a reinventing of this community, and it's come back in a great flurry.
I absolutely enjoy living here in Waterloo.
Everything. I need big city living with a small town feel, you know. I kind of like that. It's moderate. It's modest.
You know the rest. This is our scene, our music, our movement. The history lives through us. I write to the beat and let light play the guitar strings. Despite the drama, there's respect to camaraderie. Every time one of my friends is mentioned in my philosophy, it's a rite of passage. I'm not trying to be corny. I got love for sport and life. Alpha P, mass line.
We've always been a diverse town. I mean, this from the beginning. This is kind of was known as the factory town. We had trainloads of African Americans that came up from the South to help the strikes that were going on back in the early 50s or so, or 40s, maybe even before.
The railroad tracks were probably there before there were any roads there. You know, 1886, I think, is when they came through Waterloo, and it brought a significant amount of industry to the town.
It was always white and black, is what it was. Very few other races were over here.
It was often separated by the river, that you had African Americans living on one side of the river and white population living on the other. That has changed.
And then when IBP kicked in, which is now Tyson, after a few years they started having other races and countries started coming here. Vietnamese, every southern bordered country coming here.
We've got a couple of organizations that really help to bring in communities that we don't otherwise see as often in Waterloo. So Embark is a really good example. They work specifically with Burmese refugees and helping them sort of get assimilated to life here in Iowa, making sure that it's sort of a support system for them.
The USCIS resettled them to the third country. They came from Thailand and they were resettled to Waterloo or in other parts of America, in the United States, and they have no education. They cannot speak English, so they cannot work anywhere. But Tyson, they have Burmese interpreter.
Then with the whole Kosovo-Bosnia conflict, they started coming here.
When the first, refugees came here, they, we received a lot of help from the community, churches, and stuff like that. And throughout the time here that we've been here, the refugees or the immigrants, after the war, they've really showed hard work. They've been determined to build something for themselves.
At the time when we moved here, the biggest concern of mine was language. I asked myself, am I going to ever be able to get out freely and talk to the people, talk to anybody I meet that talks English? Because if you're not able to talk, then, if the language is barrier, then it's a big obstacle.
We have a lot of Laotian individuals that have moved here that came through resettlement that came through here.
You can see a lot of different Hispanic communities getting here besides just Mexicans, like Hondurans, Salvadoranians, Guatemalans.
I've seen a lot more Spanish. I see them more at Walmart, for example. I see them more at the mall than when I was little. I kind of wouldn't see them. I kind of used to hang out more with the Americans, like the white. But I have noticed there's a lot more Spanish-speaking people now here. And it's not only just Mexicans, but from people from Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador. I just would see Mexicans, but now it's, more southern.
Culturally and race-wise has just expanded over the last 20 years.
Pride Fest is in its 5th year, and I think that's a really good example of how Waterloo has sort of embraced, it's not just members of the LGBT community. There's a lot of allies that are a part of that organization.
I mean, the LGBT community is always bringing new things to Waterloo. From the UNI does their own Pride Week now, to Hawkeye has their own group on Facebook to talk about it. So LGBT community is always bringing something from the older generation that built us to where we are now to the younger generation continuing us. So they're constantly bringing new. They're accepting, they're moving forward, and they're not letting anyone stop us and going back in time. So really what they're bringing is us. I mean, in a sense, they're just bringing us, and we're being who we are.
We feel welcome, especially here at Kings and Queens. We can go places where we feel welcome. It's not weird anymore to see, 2 gay people, 2 lesbians holding hands. Everyone's not freaking out anymore. They used to freak out. Today it's just totally normal. So, but then there are still people who kind of give you dirty looks or say rude things, but that's okay. We're strong and we'll overcome it.
And now our community is a very vibrant, full, diverse community.
Primarily in Waterloo, you think of it in terms of a white-black divide, but there are people from all over the place here now, not just Mexico or Honduras. Obviously Bosnian is a big group. Marshall Islands, I mean, there was no one from the Marshall Islands here in the 60s, I don't believe. But again, there's people from all over the place, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, just pretty much everywhere now have moved to the area. So that shows you how the community has changed. It has changed tremendously, and certainly in 40 years. Well, I know if you talk to someone below the age of 30, say 25 or so, I know if you ask them, they'll, how far we come with race relations or acceptance in a broader scope, I would say. If you ask them, they say, boy, we got a long way to go. We barely scratched the surface. But I say, there's been a lot of progress, and yes, still needs to be some, I would say, but when you get a little more seasoned, it helps you with your perspective.
You don't need to go so fast.